All right, welcome back. We're going to move on to our next part. Now, even though I know this says part number 6, Axopeg, this is going to be the third part in how we progress through the parts, simply because I'm just going by order of difficulty. The Axopeg is, I would rank this the third least difficult part. So essentially what we're going to do here is to make this button head, it's kind of difficult, but essentially what we're going to do is we're going to make a half profile of this and then revolve it similar to the smokestack. And then this is basically just a circle that you extrude. But the half profile for this is going to end up looking kind of like this with a curve right there. And then we revolve it. And that's how we get this curve on the button head. You see this has a radius to it. This is a curve. And that's where we're gonna put that right there. And all of these measurements we can get from this information here on the drawing. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, let's hop over to Fusion and let's start a new file and let's look at our measurements. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the vertical line at the center point. That's going to be our point of rotation, and this is going to be from the bottom of the button head to the very top. So you can see that distance is 0.125. So I'm going to start a new sketch. And then at my origin, I'm going to draw a line that goes straight up at 0.125. Now, that's tiny, so don't forget to zoom in to make your life easier. All right. Now, I need the distance from the center point out all the way to the edge because this is our point of rotation. This is the center of the button head. I need a line that goes out. So that's going to be the distance from the center out to this point here. And you'll see that the diameter of the very bottom of the button head is 0.422. So since this is going to be a revolution, that's going to be half that distance, which is going to be 0.211. All right. Now let's get the top of the button head. The top of the button head, let's see, they give us a diameter of this piece right here is 1/4 of an inch. So since it's a revolution, it's going to be flat, and half of 0.25 is 0.125. Don't forget to take your measurements and put them on the outside. We don't want anything clogging this up in the middle here. And then you'll notice there's a really tiny little flat spot right here. This is vertical. This is a straight edge right here. This is not curved. And this has a height of 0.031. So I'm going to draw a line that goes right there, straight up at 0.031. It's flat. It just goes straight up. It doesn't have a curve to it. And the last part is to make our radius right here, which is this as a radius of 0.236. So I'm going to make my arc. I'm going to use my arc tool. I'm going to go to create, arc, 3-point arc. I'm going to select both of my endpoints here. Now, something you don't want to do is, so before I place my arc, if I move too far out, see how that snaps into place right there? Okay, if I do that, I won't be able to dimension it because it'll add a tangent constraint to it. We don't want to do that. So make sure you're not snapping in place relative to anything. Make sure your line is blue after you place it. If it's not, that means you won't be able to dimension it. Okay? So after you place your arc, hit the D, and we're going to dimension that to be 0.236. And this is the half of our button head that we are going to then revolve. So I'm going to finish my sketch, and I'm going to revolve that profile around the center point here. And this is how we get our button head. So you'll see this is my center point. This is our top radius. This is our bottom radius. That's that flat piece right there. And this is how we get that curve to the button head. Okay? So now to get this hexagonal piece on the top, it says there's a hex socket that is 5 30-seconds across flats and 0.111 deep. Now, across flats just means from one flat side to the other. So it's similar to diameter. It's the length from one side to the other of this hexagon. And lucky for us, there is a tool we can use to make a hexagon in 2 seconds. So we're going to start a sketch right on the top of the button head here. And I'm going to go create, polygon, circumscribed polygon. I'm going to start at my center point, and I'm going to go out. And you'll see it will automatically give you a distance and a quantity. The distance is going to be 5/32, 5/32. Oop, that's not right. Hold on. Polygon, circumscribed polygon. All right, let's not worry about the distance right now, but this is going to be a hexagon, so it's going to be 6-sided regardless, okay? So we're going to place that polygon, and we're going to dimension from one flat side to the other is going to be 5/32. Okay? All right, so that's the size of our hexagon. Now we're going to extrude that by negative 0.111 because that was the distance they gave us. And there's our hex head. So we're almost done. Basically what we got to do now is just make this peg here with a chamfer on the end of it. Something that you will see later on. This is called bolt code, US standard bolt code. There are a couple numbers here that you have to pay attention to. The first number, this denotes diameter. So the diameter of this circle here is 1/4 of an inch. This denotes thread count, 20 UNC. We don't really need to add threads for our purposes, so I would just ignore that if I were you. This is the length. So the length of this is 1 inch. And then the 1/4 inch offset, that denotes the threads as well. It means that the offset of the thread to the bottom of the button head is 1/4 of an inch, but we're not doing the threads anyway, so that doesn't matter. So the only numbers you need to pay attention to are it's 1/4 of an inch in diameter by 1 inch long. And then there is a 0.03 chamfer on the end of it. Remember, a chamfer is a hard cut, just like that. Okay, a fillet is a rounded edge. Okay, a fillet is, or a chamfer is a hard cut. That's what we want. So, jumping over back here on the bottom of the button head, we're going to start a new sketch. And lining up with the center point of our circle, we're going to make this 1/4 of an inch in diameter, finish our sketch, and we're going to extrude that by 1 inch. And then we're just going to add a quick chamfer on the end of it. So go to modify and then chamfer the end to 0.03. And that's it. That's our axle peg. So I'm going to press save. We're going to call that axle peg. And we're done. I'll see you on the next video.